What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. This video is going to be a little bit different than the others. This video is basically explaining what I had seen with my experience with the National Weather Service at Grand Rapids. So I actually went for a tour today, just to go see basically what they do, um, the stuff that they use, and how they do it. And I got quite a few different good tips on things to do, things to use, and how they manage it all. So this video is just going to be explaining the experience I went through. Obviously, we do have a severe weather system that is coming up, so we'll talk a little bit into the severe weather system that is taking place for tomorrow, the 28th. So let's just take a look at it. So really quickly, shout out to Brandon who worked there. He gave us an awesome tour of the place. Actually, was really enjoyable. Got to see quite a few different things. Got to see the radar itself, how they measure things, and all the things like that. He does work for the National Weather Service, and he's basically the boss of the bosses there. So it was really cool to meet him, and talked a lot about some of the models, how they do things. It was really awesome. So if you didn't know, National Weather Service is the National Weather Service. They basically give out the models for the entire United States plus the islands that surround it. They give out warnings, they issue warnings, they put out these basically outlooks for different things, whether if it's severe weather, fire hazards, just a ton of different things, excessive rainfall, all sorts of things. So, um, it's just big thanks to them. Went in there and everybody was super friendly. There weren't too many people there, but there's also like 200 offices around the United States, so um, you know, let's say 200 times 20, that gets pretty big pretty quickly. That's 4,000 people working for the National Weather Service. So each office has, I mean, depending on the office, this office had roughly 25-ish workers. It was 23. Um, all do different things and look at the models, issue warnings, do all sorts of things. And it was really cool because at the current timing of going into there, there's actually, I wouldn't call it an extreme storm by any means, but there was definitely rain that was on the forecast, so they were looking into that. They had it up on the screen and just monitoring it, making sure there's no excessive things that they have to issue warnings. So, we got to meet up, we get talked about college opportunities, and they're very flexible and very understandable. Very easy to understand from a kid's perspective. So, big shout out to them. There's actually a tornado warning right now too. Uh, Sorry, just caught my eye. So it was a very awesome experience to go do. Good day to get away from just sitting at home. So very very cool. Um, so yeah, that was basically it. We talked about quite a few different models, and he actually ended up giving us a program that we could use, along with a couple other than the meteorologists. This is a program that basically has tons of models, loops the radars, does super cool things. It's got GFS, HRRR, NAM, NAM 3CAM, and a couple other longer range models. It's got the RAP model, and it's got tons of other models, including the CMC. So, lots of different models to use with tons of features on here, all built into one big platform. So, very, very cool. You got a ton of options and things that you could add. So shout out to them for obviously giving this. It is a free program. If any of you guys want it, just let me know. Willing to give it to other people as well. Definitely could help a lot and is definitely going to change how radars look and with forecasting things. So, yeah, shout out to them. We did end up getting an hour and a half tour instead of an hour tour because they were so nice and generous with their time. Even though they have things obviously that they have to do, they spent a little bit of extra time with us. So, you know, big thanks to them for making all of this happen. Thanks to my Uncle Ryan as well for making this possibility. It's been a dream of mine, so Um, thanks to everybody involved. Now to get into some of the severe weather. Um, we have coming up a enhanced risk, 10% chance for significant tornadoes possible. So remember, with that hatch risk, there is a 10% chance within a 25-mile radius of a county that there is going to be a significant tornado possible. And it's quite a big risk, actually. If anything, since the last time I've seen it, it's actually expanded more into Louisiana as the models are picking up. It looks like Louisiana is actually going to see more activity than originally expected. So it's the same sort of deal we had actually yesterday with some of those storms that fired off near the Houston area and moved eastward. Um, and it's all because of the Gulf is right there. It's fueling it, and it's just giving the storms more strength to grow. So um, definitely something to keep an eye on. We do have quite a few scattered showers throughout the day and storms. Here, I will go back and pause it. So as these storms grow, the main part here, the main problem, I should say, is going to be these scattered storms before they grow into one main line. Um, Once they're, scattered storms and they are individual cells, this gives them a chance to, be individual cells. So they have their own energy and stuff to grow off of, and basically, just eat up as much as that, much of the energy that they want, of the Gulf energy that's literally like, within 25 miles or so. So they have all of that energy to eat up. So if these cells can stay robust, it'll definitely help feel the system. So as these storms grow, it should once like probably roughly into Sunday morning, these cells will go into more of a confined line of cell like storms. So it's not as big of a line. It's actually now it's just like one main line instead of all the robust stuff. So once it enters into Alabama, we could definitely see some of these cells out in front before it all gets condensed, go big, and possibly spawn a couple severe tornadoes in these areas. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye out for those. The system does move out of the region after the low pressure goes northeast and could bring some more severe weather the next day to places like Mississippi and Georgia, which is where I'm getting to now. Once a system goes there, people mainly think that these are the lines where we have to pay attention to, and these lines, don't get me wrong, could have some very strong winds and definitely could knock down some trees, but that's not the main tornado threat. The main tornado threat is the day prior in roughly that region due to the, not so confined, like not condensed line of storms. It's all robust. So in some of these areas could definitely see some excessive rainfall, especially right there in Louisiana near New Orleans, just a little bit north, as these places have been getting the same type of storm systems repeatedly for a while, and it doesn't look like it's going to be a very fast moving system. I mean, it stays pretty, uh, you know, robust for a while, so there's scattered thunderstorms across a couple of the states before going into those condensed lines and making its way all the way into Georgia and Florida later on. Now one more thing to look at is the significant, well, supercell composite first, actually. Um, this is the supercell composite, so this is actually, what's cool about this is going to come off of the Gulf and immediately be eaten by these storms that are going to grow. You can see in Louisiana, we actually have some decent amounts of supercell composite, up to 16, um, which is enough to fuel these cells, especially in these lower, different, like, I don't know, in certain spots you can see up to 27 to 30 on this parameter. So definitely could see uh, condensed spots of very, very high supercell composite, which basically allows the storms to have more fuel before it moves off. Um, and now, one last thing to look at, so it's just fuel for it. Here is the significant tornado parameter. This is basically the parameter if we will get a significant tornado, so like it heightens the chances it gives the storms more energy, and if these storms can eat this up, which tomorrow there is going to be a decent amount of like a decent parameter, I should say, with these storms. So if the storms are able to eat this up and do so in fast enough time, these storms could go big, and we could see a big tornado tomorrow or destructive tornado tomorrow. Besides that, we can look at unstable Cape. The Cape is going to be decent because it's right, once again, it's coming off of the Gulf. As you can see, it goes into Texas and raises really quickly to roughly 2,000 joules, which is well enough to get these strong storms and severe storms to push through the area. The farther south you go, the more joules per kilogram you get. So we'll just see that as it changes, as it pushes obviously eastward. Then we're left with almost no joules per kilogram of Cape. We can go to surface-based Cape as well. Once again, same sort of deal, roughly 2,000 joules per kilogram of Cape. I really think that the severe risk will be more southern than what they're predicting up here. But you never know. We could see some of those storms that go farther northern surprise us tomorrow. But really, my main worry is probably this region, just around Baton Rouge, and a couple of the other areas in South Alabama and Louisiana. So once the system goes by, we can actually look at not tropical tidbits. Here's the GFS model. So once the system passes by, it's going to be a big rainmaker for a lot of the northeast. Big blob, low pressure is decently sized, and it's just going to cause possibly a snow-wintry mix into the weekend, into Monday, before exiting. And then the next storm system could just be a little clipper system that goes a little bit south of us. Could be another rainmaker before going north into a big low pressure. And actually, we could see some lake effect snow after this. So be on the lookout for some lake effect snow roughly into early January. So overall, nothing too huge besides tomorrow, and possibly some lake effect snow in the future. As I have this right now, I think this enhanced 10% risk could really be confined to something more like, I'd even go maybe a little bit more southward and even cut off portion of, because it goes into Mississippi, which I really don't think it's going to make it all the way. Well, it goes into Alabama, and I really don't think it's going to make it all the way into Alabama that much. So, and I know I mixed up Alabama and Mississippi a couple times in this video, so please don't judge about that. I'm not the best at the states yet. Still getting better at them. I honestly think I'm better with counties, but could definitely see this getting condensed down a little bit, actually. That is a huge 10% risk. Basically covering 2 states, which I think in reality, I guess it's there for good precaution, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a risk unless something changes in the next couple of hours. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more videos later, and peace out.